The Messy Book, starring Goof-Off Goose, by Ellen Weiss, illustrated by Richard Hefter. It was a sunny spring day in the town of Sweet Pickles. At noon, Goof-Off Goose woke up on her sofa. She thought, I feel great. And she turned over and went back to sleep. Her house was as messy as always. Clothing was scattered over the chairs and on the floor. And there were the remains of old snacks under the sofa and on the table. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door. Positive Pig peered in. "Hi, Goose," said Pig. "Are you awake yet? Everybody is busy with spring cleaning today. Everybody needs help. I'm going to help Rabbit in his garden. Will you come along?" "Umph," said Goose into her pillow. "Come on, Goose. You can't help anybody if you're asleep." Goose opened one eye. "Well, okay," she said lazily as she flip-flopped along behind Pig. "I guess I could help," and she followed Pig out the door. Responsible Rabbit was working in his garden. "Hi, Rabbit. We've come to help you," said Pig. Thank you," said Rabbit. He looked doubtfully at Goose. "Come on in. I could use some help weeding." Goose walked straight into the garden, right through Rabbit's prized petunias. "Goose, wait!" shouted Rabbit, but Goose had already plunked herself down in the middle of the marigolds. "I'll help you pull these weeds here," she offered. Rabbit rushed over, waving his arms. "Stop!" he shouted. "You're not pulling up weeds. You're pulling up flowers." Stepping carefully over his broken flowers, Rabbit said, "Goose, you have done enough. Thank you." He looked sadly at his flowers. "I didn't know gardening was so easy," said Goose. "Maybe I'll go help somebody else now." "Tell you what," said Pig brightly. "Let's go over to my house. I have some painting to do." "Sure," said Goose. "Gardening is so easy. I'll bet painting is a snap." They crossed the road and walked around the corner to Pig's house. "You wait here by the garage," said Pig. "I'll get the brushes. The paint is right there." She rushed off. "Right where?" said Goose, as she turned around and knocking over a can of red paint without noticing. "Maybe the paint is in the kitchen," said Goose. She went into the kitchen and looked around. "No, I guess not," she decided, walking through the kitchen. Goose didn't see the red footprints she was trailing behind her. Pig came into the kitchen. "Here are the brushes," she said, "and I see you found the paint." She looked at Goose's footprints. Goose followed Pig's gaze to the red paint on the floor. "Oh, don't worry," she said brightly. "I found some great clean-up rags." She bent to wipe the floor. "Wait!" yelled Pig. "You're using my best handkerchiefs." But it was too late. "Goose," said Pig as patiently as she could, "it's very nice of you to help, but I think you have done enough." "All right," said Goose. "I'll help you again some other time." "I'll ask you when I need help," said Pig, walking Goose out the door. Goose walked up the street, humming to herself. "This helping business is not so bad," she thought. "I'll go help someone else before I have my afternoon rest." Then she remembered that Bashful Bear was in bed with a bad cold. "I'll bet Bear could use some help," she thought. Goose walked into Bear's house without knocking. Gee, Goose," Bear said shyly. "It's nice to see you." "I've come to help," said Goose. What can I do for you?" "I'd like a glass of water, please," said Bear. "Sure," said Goose. "Oops," said Goose as the glass slipped and the water sloshed all over Bear's bed. "Achoo!" said Bear. "How about a piece of this nice cake you have here?" said Goose, cutting herself a large slice. "No, thanks," said Bear. "Lion brought it, but I don't feel well enough to eat it." Mind if I have some?" asked Goose, cutting another slice. "Oh, please do," replied Bear. Goose helped herself again, dropping crumbs all over the rug, the bed, and herself. "It's really quite good," she said. She made herself comfortable at the foot of Bear's bed. "All this helping," she yawned, "can make someone," she stretched, "a little sleepy." She put her head down and began to snore. Just then there was a knock on the door. In came Rabbit and Pig. "Hi, Bear," they said. "We've come to see how you're getting along today." "Not so well," said Bear, pointing at Goose. Rabbit and Pig shook their heads. "Goose came to help me, but all she did was make a mess," sighed Bear. "She came to help me," said Rabbit, "and my garden is a mess. And then she came to help me paint," added Pig, "and it took me hours to clean up her mess." "How are you feeling, Bear?" asked Rabbit. "Well, I was better before Goose came over," said Bear. "Shall we wake Goose and take her home?" asked Pig. They looked down at her friend. Goose was snoring loudly and her face was covered with crumbs. "No, let's leave her," said Rabbit. "She can't help anybody while she's asleep, and that's a big help." The end.